This is the problem with talking about all of my favorite things. And this was like my idea to do. And I was like, it won't be that bad.
I've made it so hard. Hello, Cozy Detectives, and welcome to the Blanket Fort Files. I'm Joy.
And I'm Larissa.
And we're here to celebrate 1 year of comfy and cozy in the Blanket Fort. Cheers!
Yay! Woo! We did it a whole year.
A whole new season
with our little lemonade.
Okay, let me take this off. Go away, this.
Oh, don't mess up my hair. We should just leave that in. You want cozy energy. There you go.
Cozy chaotic energy.
Also, I just noticed that your shirt's of velvet. It is very Phoebe Buffet.
Right? I got it at a thrift store.
Cute.
And I'm stoked about it. It's like see-through here.
Yeah.
And it's like velvety here. And I just went for it. But it has like no tag or anything. So I'm like,
did my friend send you a reel of this girl finding a bunch of Lorelai outfits at the thrift store?
No.
She sent it to me. She listens.
Oh gosh, obsessed.
And she sent it to me. And I was like, oh, you should send it to Joy. So now I can get onto her.
Yes.
Sending it to you. How
send
could
me.
she?
My word. Love.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
I know. I can't believe it's been a year. Like part of me feels like it's been a lot longer.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, how are we already at a year? Like I don't know, it's wild to me.
Yes, honestly. I feel like, yeah, it's exactly that. It's both sides of it. I also feel like we were talking about it before this, and in preparation for our like fun reflective questions and everything, we were doing investigating on our own cozy case files from the past. Yeah. And it was so funny. I was watching some of our early episodes and I don't know. I just know you so much more now. And it's funny how we're like, hello.
Yeah. We've just.
It's the groove.
Yeah. I'm like scared to go back to some of our first ones.
Yeah.
Because like we knew each other and we had done the baking videos a few times. But I don't know, sitting down almost every week this year with you, obviously we've gotten to know you or got to know each other a lot better. Hopefully our cozy detectives feel like they know us now. And we just feel a lot more comfy cozy.
I feel like also we're just getting more comfortable with being ourselves. I feel like it's one of those things where at the very beginning, when you go to do something, you're like still like finding your footing no matter where it is online. It's like a new thing to figure out and try. And I feel like I remember the first time saying pod or podcast, I was like, and now I'm just like, I'm the pod, and it's so fun. And it's just so perfect. And okay, so I'm gonna go into the crown thing. So like right before, like an hour or two before, I was like, Larissa, what if we wore something? And then 30 minutes before, my brain was like, okay, but what if we embroider something? And I was like, girl, why? You have 30 minutes. But I think it's so cute.
It feels so cute.
Please. It feels very Where the Wild Things Are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh, potential future case file.
I know. I've actually never seen that. Isn't that crazy? Oh, but
I haven't seen it, but I read the book growing up.
Oh, nice.
If that counts.
Yeah, totally counts. Absolutely. Okay. We've done books before.
But please tell me that you're going to wear that every year on your birthday from now on.
I like punched holes in the side and put little like clippies so I could like get it to stick. But I don't know if without the headphones on, if it would hold. I'm not going to lie. But it's cute and I like it. And I feel like it's whimsical and fun. And so it felt very like the blanket fort to me. So I just went with it because I was like, I'm gonna do a paper one, and then my brain was like, okay, but what if we just drove ourselves crazy 30 minutes before we're supposed to be recording? And I was like,
that's honestly that's the way to do it. Anytime I have a party or a get together right before, I'm like, oh, but wait, we could do this. So, and I have my little
I love it.
Fringe, golden party fringe, which I told you this story before we recorded, but I was going to share it with the cozy detectives too. So I got it for my sister's birthday earlier this year because we live together, in case this is like your first episode to join us.
This will be a fun chaotic one. Yeah.
Hopefully it will motivate you to go back and listen to all the ones we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I was going to ask or offer if she came around, but since we have our unofficial mascot, she's over here. If we want
Please.
to see Rosie, come here.
Rosie. Oh my gosh. Hi, Rosie.
She's not happy that I picked her up, but she had to say hello.
Hello. She is just like, let me down.
So over it, I know. She's
She's
such
a
a little
nugget.
toddler whenever I get on these calls. She's like, pay attention to me. But
Oh, we still need
anyways.
to share that on YouTube, the Rosie walking through the farming
Oh,
field.
yeah. We'll put that as a reel too.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but by the time this comes out, hopefully we'll have gotten it together to
Yeah.
post it on there. But um, I got this for my sister's birthday because we live together, and I wanted to kind of do a little birthday decoration for her.
So fun.
But so that it would be there when she woke up in the morning. But the problem is she stays up later than I do. And it wasn't even just, oh, she was up in her room and I didn't want her to hear me. She was like bebopping around. And I'm like, I'm tired. Mind you, I had also gotten those big number balloons, except
I
the
love those.
zero had a bunch of slashes in it, and I didn't realize, so I was trying to inflate it for like 15 minutes. It somehow
But how
didn't
did
miss
you
out.
eventually realize? Were you just like, this is not
Yeah, I was
working?
like, there has to be a hole because it wasn't making any progress. And I found the first
Aw.
little slash, and it was a big slash. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just tape that over. So I'm like desperately trying to tape it up.
Oh,
And I find
no.
another one, and then another one, and then
Oh.
another one. And so I just gave up and I was like, Jacqueline, I tried to do a cute little thing for your birthday, but I'm tired. So
Aw. Happy
yeah, so
third.
now I have these for our birthday.
Yay. We're number one. Or we're one
Yeah.
years old. Or whatever.
That reminds me of the Panic Room episode with the password. And she's like,
One,
don't
one,
say it out
one, one,
loud.
one.
We won, won,
Yay,
won,
we
won,
won,
won.
won, won, won. So good. So good, so good. Ah, I'm
Oh,
so excited. Okay. So we have many things to discuss in this episode. So there's going to be a lot of sections. I probably will try to go back in. It'll take me a hot second, but over on YouTube specifically, when we're talking about episodes, I'm going to try to link them. I don't know if there's a
ooh.
cap on the amount of episodes you can link because we are going to talk about a lot of them. I'll probably link each one time if we discuss it, just so that you can go back and talk about it. But we have different segments of this, which I'm really excited. We also have some fun reveals that we're going to be talking about. Should we talk about our first reveal?
Please do, because I've been dying to talk about this. I can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yay!
Do you want to tell them? Because it was all you.
It was a labor of love, but we are going to have a new logo, which very excited. So you'll see
Yes.
that on YouTube and Instagram. We're also going to have a new YouTube banner, and then we're going to have, you'll be actually this will be the first episode that you'll see it when it like
All the
pops
goodies.
up. Maybe you already
Yeah.
saw it actually.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be all new fun things. We're trying to like figure out the cozy colors that like fit us the best, and this really feels like us. Actually, it's so funny. You're wearing a pink sweater.
I know when you were asking like, what do you want to be wearing? And I was like, I mean crew neck sweatshirt. It's all I wear. It's cozy. So we were picking out the colors, and I was like, oh, should we lean into really nostalgic, like a pink and brown or pink and green? And we kind of went with both. I think it
Yeah.
leans a little more pink and green, but I think that's really fun. Super like 90s, early 2000s, which obviously, if you've been here for any length of time, you know that's our vibe.
Yeah. So fun. But I
Yeah.
feel like I'm excited about it because it's us, but like a version. And I'll tell you what, I've never really drawn people, which is also where like, because there's a couple iterations that you will never see on the
Oh,
Instagrams
but
that have
I want to see
faces.
them because I was going to ask what the process was like for you.
It I feel like the background made sense. It's kind of like if you're listening along. Actually, you should see it in your
It'll
logo,
still
duh.
be on there, but I
Yeah,
can
but
describe it to you while you listen.
yes. But it was something where like I wanted to keep, and we both had discussed like what the look we wanted was, but we wanted to keep it in the blanket fort, but then add us to it as well. But the hardest thing was the hair. Like, I
Oh,
started twitching when I
yeah.
said it. There's so many iterations of us with different hair. Like, it's all the same color because it feels like it, like, is very kind of our colors,
Mhm.
and I know I don't curl my hair very often. I did for this episode because I was like, "Oh, the
It's
logo has curled
cute.
hair," because okay, in my best times, I am ready and here and curled hair, so
I love
I'm
it.
just
And
going
you're
with it.
I was like, is this Joy signaling that she's gonna cut her hair
I
too?
do. I legitimately do wanna cut it. I probably wanna cut it to, like,
Oh my gosh, that's a big
here.
deal.
I know, it's just too long. Like, even this is curled, so it's bumped up a
Especially as
little
we're
bit,
getting
but
closer to summer.
yeah, I actually tend to always do the opposite where, like, I'll have really short hair, quote, unquote, "short hair" in the winter and then, like, long hair in the summer, but I'm
No.
not feeling it this year. I'm
And
feeling the
you live where
flip-flop.
I do. It's short in the summer.
Yeah.
Also, um, I've been doing kind of like a reddish, tone when I've gone to get my hair, but, like, in the logo, it's a little on the redder side. I'm like, "Girl, you're making me wanna go redder." I like how it's like our hair goals.
Because I was like, "You know what? I want us to like it."
I love
Because
it so much.
yeah, and yeah, your hair is a little bit more red in that than it is in, like, real
No, but
life. But I feel like
I
it's, like, I don't know,
like
it just
it.
fit.
Yeah, I think it does, but yeah, I've been doing kind of a coppery tone the
Yeah.
last few times I've got my hair done, and now I'm gonna show my hairstylist next time and be like, "Can we go a little more red, please?"
No, I love it. That'd be so funny. I thought about getting my hair cut before this episode, and then I was like, "You know what? I just can't. We're doing too many things. We are watching things. Should we go into that? Because I have thoughts,
Yes.
and I'm so excited to see what
I
yours
know, I am too. So, our I guess next little segment, we decided that part of the whole goal of the podcast is obviously to introduce our cozy detectives sometimes to new case files, but also to each other. And we've done that a few times over the course of this year. But I feel like both of us really wanted the other to experience the other one of their favorite movies. And so we were like, oh, well, we'll just make each other watch it and then we'll talk about it. So we're not going to do obviously a full on case file official reporting like we normally do because we've already done that. But do you want to go first with your little experience?
Yes. So we both watched a movie that the other has done a case file on that we had
Hmm.
never seen.
Yeah.
So I watched the 2019 Little Women.
Finally.
Finally. I had never actually seen a Little Women, and it's so funny because in it, you can tell that I'm guessing, like, what's gonna come
Oh,
next. So
yeah,
I
because you
actually
did a whole recording of it, right?
yeah,
Oh,
so
I
I
can't
did
wait to see.
record it. So I'm still trying to decide if it's something where I wanna do, like, a, like, 3, 2, 1 click, and we, like, watch it together and we post that on YouTube, or if it's something where I should try to, like, edit it down because it's kind of it's tricky to figure out which one would work better for the Coach Detective. So actually, this
Let us
probably will
know.
be up before I were to post that, so let us know. Um, but I did do a full recording of watching it, and there was a few times I teared up. I,
Oh,
like
yeah.
oh, it got me, and
That
I
whole
think
parallel scene with the kitchen.
yeah, that one got me. The first one
Yeah.
that got me actually was Timothy. I was like, it's when he like, I don't even remember the line. I've seen it once. It was when he said like, "You're beautiful" or something like that too. I was
Mhm.
like, "Okay, Timothy." But I have questions because I have only seen the one time. Do you know if in the book or in the other adaptations, or maybe I just wasn't catching it throughout? I felt like Timothy really, or this is where I don't remember. Lori
Yeah.
really liked Joe, obviously.
Mhm.
Homegirl says no.
Yeah.
And so then he, like, goes and's, like, all, like, moody and meanie pants, and then who
Amy.
Amy.
Mhm.
Amy sees him in
Yes,
Paris.
that happens. They get married, all of that is.
I felt like the lead up to them getting married was so little, though. Like, to
Yeah.
the point where when they kissed, I was like, "Are we okay with this or not?" Like, I can't tell.
Yeah, that's kind of the, like, sucker punch because it really just kinda comes out of
Oh,
nowhere.
brutal. Yeah.
And I think too, because for me, I like that they end up together because I think obviously part of Joe and Lori in this version is that Timothy and Saoirse just have incredible chemistry.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I like how much a part of the family, like the March family, that Lori is. And so I like that he still gets to be there in some way. And I know that it's kind of controversial. Some people like him and Amy. Some people don't. I personally
Mm.
don't mind them. It's not like, oh my God, I love them, but I think it's fine because I think he gets to stay in the family. And like I said in the episode where I covered it, I like how this version veers away from the book where Joe ends up getting married, because I kind of
Mm.
like that she has her independence, because I feel like if she was to get married, it would have been to Lori.
That
So
was brutal too. Like,
yeah.
brutal is the word I said so many times because it was just, the I felt like the family interactions of, like, in this story, like, you love your sister, but then it's hard, and then you, like, been in her shadow, but then, like, now she's in your shadow in certain aspects, and, like, it
Yeah.
was just so layered that I felt like I could see, like, both sides of the equation the majority of the movie, and I was like, "Oh, this is, like, rough." Like, "What is
Yeah.
happening?"
Uh,
And, ugh.
I'm so glad you watched it
I
though.
did like it. There was a couple times when I was like once at the end, I was like, "I give you Brendan Fraser and you give me this, I'm crying."
I know. Well, and like, um, yeah, I was like, and we'll get into this with yours about whether it's actually cozy or not. um,
That's so
but
funny.
yeah, and then I love this scene where they're on the hill and he's like, I gave up billiards for you.
Wait, which one was that one? Was that when he's talking
So
to Joe?
yeah, they're both on the hill and he's like trying to get her to be with him and she's like, it
Mm.
won't work. And that one is been like memed and redone so many times, like on TikTok.
Yeah.
And there's this one girl, she does a couple like dramatic scenes, but she always starts off, and the one that she did for that, she's like, oh, I got these new shoes. Let me like break them in. And so she starts walking and then she goes into the full scene and
Oh,
it's
that's so
so
funny.
funny. Yeah.
I will say I loved the way that it was shot, and so there was
Mhm.
times where I'm, like, sad and then, like, "Oh, but this is a beautiful shot."
Yeah.
Because it's so pretty, and I love the winter aspect of it. I loved how different each of the, like, daughters was in their personality, and yet, like,
Mhm.
that mom was, like, perfectly cast. Also, I feel like
Oh,
I should have
yeah.
known her from things. What
Did
have
you
I seen
ever
her
watch
in?
she's in a lot. She was in, one of the Star Wars adaptations, I think. Let me
Ah,
fact check that to be sure, but she's
right,
also
'cause I was
in,
thinking about it.
Big Little Liars. I don't know if you ever watched that.
No, but she just has, like, that face. Because 'cause I'm like, she
Oh,
kind of
yes.
does.
She was in, Star Wars: The Last Jedi from 2017. Her name's Laura Dern, in case you didn't know.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Because like, I just feel like she was so perfectly cast. It was
Yeah.
really fun to see, like, the dad, and I'm glad that, like, that ended okay.
My
Obviously, like,
Little Women.
I know, I was like, "They did the thing, they did the thing where they said."
Yeah, he says that, but, so when Gilmore Guys was a big thing,
Mhm.
they talked about that movie a lot because they actually both really liked it, and Kevin would always just, like, quote the line that the dad would say, he'd be like, "My Little Women."
I know, I also feel like I know the dad from something too. It was like one of
Yeah,
those, like
he's one of those where he's, like, just in a
like,
lot of,
the
like,
face,
shows
you're
and
like,
stuff. Yeah.
"Yeah,
I'm
yeah."
telling you, it is a star-studded cast, like, Meryl Streep's
Really?
there.
Yes! I, like, forgot she was in it because I was like, like, remembered some stuff that you said, so I was like, "Okay, I remember kind of where the ending is going, but I'm not sure how it's gonna play out." But, like, like, character arc of a lot of them, I, like, didn't remember, and yeah, it was good. I will definitely
Good.
watch it again. I love the
Yay.
scenes in the set and the costuming and everything of that. I totally get how that's so beloved, but it was sad, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Not
But you
gonna
know
lie.
me, I love a sad movie.
True, and you know me, I love your case file, so you talk about what you want.
So, Joy made me watch The Mummy, which I have a bone to pick with you because I don't know how this is cozy to you.
I love it.
Oh, it was so funny because, like, when we were planning episodes, you're like, I really want to talk about The Mummy and Pirates of the Caribbean. And I was
Oh,
like,
it's so funny.
I think we have different definitions of cozy, but that's fine. But I
Oh
know
my
they're
gosh.
like comfort movies for you, and they're like,
Yeah.
there's ones you've just like seen a lot of. But I started watching it before bed one night, and I
Oh,
was like, this is not a before bed type movie.
I know.
And I think you and I have talked about this, but I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast before. But a I've like a specific setting on my TV in my bedroom for like ultra red, no blue light. And so like the beginning scene, I was like, I had to turn it off because it was like red.
Oh, so I know. I will say when I was talking, so I watched the movie the day before recording. So I watched this
Mhm.
yesterday and I was like talking to my husband about it. And then he just goes, Emotep. And I was like, oh yeah, that's totally a different vibe. Like my brain didn't catch it till he said it. And I was like, yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep, yep.
But I just kept having this thought because, first of all, it reminded me actually a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean. And so I was like, oh, this makes sense why you love it so much because I felt that they were very similar. Same thing
Yeah.
with Lord of the Rings, like the adventure, like,
Yeah. I'm also an
and it's
Egypt
not,
girl.
yeah.
Speaking of like the flashbacks of the things you can be.
Yeah, because I was like, it's not necessarily like, yes, there's a lot of action scenes and there were a lot of jump scares. I was like, girl, I was like, I cannot watch this before bed. There's too many jump scares.
Oh, so funny.
And the mummy, you were like, it's not that scary. It's pretty scary. That's it.
Sorry.
No, it was a time. We had the time.
It's funny.
But it felt very like, I don't know. Feel like there's almost, I want to say there's two versions of you, but I feel like
Mhm.
your interests are so varied, which I like because you've got the like, obviously like the Gilmore Girls, the Nancy Meyers, like the chill, like the where we overlap, but then you also have the like adventure because you were also more of like a video gamer than I am too. Like you sent
Yeah.
me, you were on your walking pad. You're like, I'm watching this Twitch gamer, and I was like, love that for you. um,
I was like, "Okay, here we go. We listen and we don't judge.
yeah,
I'm gonna
no.
show you what to watch."
But it's so funny because I have interests too that it even surprised me. Like I watched all of Game of Thrones, and I was like, that's
Mm.
scarier than
Yeah,
the
see, that's
Mummy.
more spoopy than I would normally
Yeah.
watch, yeah.
So I don't I love getting to learn people's interests and like getting to experience this is something so much that you love. And I could see elements. I was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of Joy. Like I think the humor is very like your type of humor. And there's also a scene, and it was too also cool because I know how much you love Brendan Fraser, and I was like, I can see why. Like he's very appealing in this
Right?
movie.
He's so good.
But it towards the beginning when he like is in jail or whatever and has like the longer hair, and I was like, wait, did I put on George of the Jungle? Like, what movie are we
Yeah.
watching?
Yeah, when he's like, "Now get me the hell out of here," and he, like, kisses her. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
but then I was like, what? There's guns and he's getting hung and there's scary mummies. I was like, we're not having a cozy
I'm just vibing. My
time.
favorite line then I wanna ask you, okay, so I think you might have said your favorite line in Little Women, but I do wanna see if there's, like, a scene that was, like that made that movie for you. So one of the ones in The Mummy that, like, makes it is
Hmm.
when they are in the desert, and
Hmm.
Evie which I said this in the episode too, but Evie
Yeah.
goes, "I am a librarian."
Yeah.
It's so good.
I
It's
loved her
so
a
good.
lot.
Right?
Yeah.
She's a super strong, like, female character, but also, like, very well balanced, I think is the way to say that. So I
Yeah.
really like her character. Do you have, like, a specific moment or memory? And you may have said this, but now just that I've watched it
Yeah,
from
I
Little Women.
really Joe is my favorite. Again, they're all really strong, but her in particular. But I love where she's talking about she's like women have souls and
That
minds.
got me. Oh, but
Yeah.
she's in the attic, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and when she's just talking about like she doesn't want to be like lonely and that I really like. I just feel she's a very well-rounded character.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, that's probably my favorite line from the movie.
Yeah, it was really good. I felt like they did a really good way of showing them as like that, like in the good way, like the hero of their own story, but also like
Hmm.
flawed characters, but also like I feel like it's that well-rounded. Yes, I make mistakes and I
Yeah,
do good things, and it felt very real in the
yeah.
characters of it. That's
Speaking of mistakes, when Amy burns her butt,
oh my gosh! I was
I
like, girl,
know.
this is an overreaction. I was
Yeah,
like,
I hate that. It hurts so much every time when she does it. I'm like, no, don't
okay,
do
okay,
it.
question. Why did she burn her own stuff later? Because I was like, girl, didn't you like disown your sister for a hot second and let her fall in a lake?
She's so moody.
I
I
was
don't
like, you're burning
know.
your own books now. What is happening
I think
here?
she's in there. They're all a little emotional. It's okay.
True. Oh, also the American, like, accent of it. I thought that was so there
Yeah.
was, like, a couple times where I was like,
Well,
"Ooh,
yeah.
Emma's trying really hard right
Yeah, she struggled there, she struggled in Beauty and the Beast, but, like,
now."
she but I think all 4, because I don't think Beth is American either. I need to double
I
check,
wasn't
but
sure
I
about.
think all 4 are not
Oh,
American.
that's so fun. Okay, that was what I wasn't sure of is, I actually don't know I don't know the actor well enough to know this. Amy, right, who ends up marrying
Mhm.
Laurie, is she's British or she's
Yes.
wow,
Yeah.
she did so good. She was one where I was like, "I can't tell."
Oh, that's she's just
She's fantastic.
incredible and ever and
Yeah.
she's in a lot. She's having her moment. She's, like, in Marvel. She was in Don't Don't Worry, Darling is the one with Harry
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Styles. She did a movie with, Amy, not Amy, sorry, she is Amy, Emily Blunt recently.
Oh, yeah, 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 Oppenheimer?
Mhm.
That one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was I think this is my favorite movie that she's done, even though I've seen some of the others. I just really
Mine
felt
too.
like oh, yeah, she's Dune as well, which is kind of
Yeah.
how, like, I kinda knew, like, the certain jokes of certain things, and then it's heartbreaking too to be like, "Timothy, you're gonna be so bad, and it's gonna make me so sad because 'cause you're so good at this." So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really fun. I do feel like I got to know you a little bit more from, like, knowing one of your cozy movies as well, so which is
Yeah.
the point of doing it, and we've never
Exactly.
seen
It was a
it.
fun experience for sure.
It
I
was.
loved it. But
It
next
was.
time, pick a cozier movie. Just kidding.
I know. See, that's the confusing thing because to me, I'm like, where are the jump scares? Like, my brain does not see jump scares in the Mummy because I've watched it since
Yeah, so you know
forever.
they're coming.
Yeah, like another
Yeah.
movie for me that's cozy that we haven't done a case file on, but is The Matrix. And I have a feeling you probably won't think, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you'll find that one cozy. But I'm like, yes, vibes. Give me that like a one-handed cartwheel. I'm in it. So dodge this. Oh, it's so
Aw.
good. But okay, now we're going on to the next segment. We're 30 minutes in. Block in Cozy Detectives
This is
because
gonna
we're
be a long one, but we're just so
yeah.
happy to be here
Oh,
and be
it's so
talking
fun.
and reflecting, which speaking of reflecting, I was just the way I gave that was giving Joey of the sharing and receiving and having and holding.
I love it. Wait, what are you gonna say though? Are you talking about are
Oh,
you
yeah, I was gonna segue you into it. I was
oh
trying to
yes,
be
yes.
smooth about it, but then I was like, "Oh, Joey." But we've got some reflection questions that we're gonna ask each other, but we'll answer all of them. But we have
Yeah.
10 because I needed an even good number, so
Which I
yay.
appreciate. That's one of the
Yeah.
things about me too. Just in thinking about the last year, it's fun to see our personalities that are like again the aspects that are similar and the aspects that are different. Because I'm like
Yeah.
9, that's fine, and you're like absolutely not. I'm like cool. Okay, let's come up with the 10th one. But the first question is, what was your favorite episode to record?
I would have to say the Nostalgic Magazines episode, and it's
Nice.
so we'll get into this more with our cozy detective responses. I was honestly really nervous about that episode because it's one of our longer ones, and I know I talked a lot, and I was
I
like, and
loved it.
but it was like early on, like I don't even think
Yeah,
it was in our like we had
we were in the
hadn't even
summer.
intent. It was like our ninth episode,
Yeah.
and so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm talking so much everyone's gonna hate this. They're gonna be like, oh my god, Larissa, shut up. You yap
Ah,
so much. But
no.
spoiler, it was a fan favorite, luckily. And I don't know, it was just so fun to go back through something that I hadn't really thought about. And like I always thought about it, but I hadn't looked at the
Yeah.
magazines in a long time. And I won't spend too much time again talking about it now, but I just posted a Substack as of
I
recording this. It was last night. You read it?
yes, I love it. I'm in.
Yeah. So it is American Girl Magazine Summer. And so I broke down not all, but a lot of the different segments in the magazine and how I want to incorporate that into my life as an adult this summer. And I'm very excited for it because I hate summer and I'm very excited to like it a little bit more.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. So the Nostalgic Magazines episode was the one that I like immediately thought of, and I think it's
Hmm.
also because it's something where so the Larissa talked about the American Girl magazines. I talked about kind of like the teen magazines from back in the day, and I actually
Yeah.
had my actual magazines,
I That was so cool.
which was really fun. I would say actually this is not my answer for a future one, hint hint, but I will say that actually was kind of hard to research because I was like, ooh, I don't know
Mhm.
like where to go and where to direct for this. But I have that. I have or the night episodes because I feel like the times where we're just like not random in a bad way, but just like this kind of episode vibe of it, I really enjoy
Yeah.
because it's fun. And I feel like that's another part of the blanket fort that I really appreciate is life sometimes cannot feel very cozy or like I just have some personal health things and a bunch of different ways going on in life. But I feel like in the blanket fort, it's just like, I don't know, like I'm not gonna get like, but it's just like Little Joy and Little Rissa, and
It's
we've like
okay.
posted a
Oh,
vid,
you're gonna
you
make me
know, you know,
ah.
like I saw somebody post a video about like the people that you see at Disney versus the people at Disney, and it's like they like walk past a light pole, and I think it's their actual kids,
Mhm.
but like then like the little them, and like that kind of like feels like us in this about like here's this thing
Yeah.
I like, or here's this funny quirky
Yeah, like
thing, and
show and tell.
yeah, like the best version of show and tell. And so I feel like the nostalgic magazines for me was really that because it was really fun to dive into like your world with that. It was fun to be like, oh, I really did enjoy these like fun, quirky things. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was my answer as well.
Aw.
So that was a good
Yeah,
episode.
I like the when we I don't know, we feel more like ourselves. Like I think it was the Meryl Streep episode. That was a really fun to record because I don't know, it just I was like, this feels like a podcast. We're just chatting, being a little
Yeah.
silly. So I like that. All right,
Yes.
my next question, I guess it's my first one, but the next question is what was your favorite moment of the podcast over the last year?
This one was hard because I was trying to
I had
think.
to I had to do 2, I couldn't help
I have two for a lot of these. I'm not gonna lie to you.
it. Aw.
So I felt like it was really fun to do the holiday because we both had the
Mhm.
same case file, and that was the first time we'd done
Yeah.
that. And it was something where we both really enjoyed. So it was cool to kind of like dissect that down and then just talk about like the nitty gritty and just like kind of geek over the movie that we love.
Yeah.
And then I also wrote, even though it was exhausting, recording for 3 hours about Gilmore Girls.
Oh, yeah, that was so fun, but yeah, by the end, we were
Yeah.
like, "Ugh."
I know. You can like see it like in season 6 and 7. We're talking, we're like, okay, we're fading, we're fading.
Yeah, and then it was
But it
like,
was
wait,
fun.
what? Math and all the
Girl, I got that
ranking.
math so wrong at the
That's
beginning.
my favorite thing.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm just not a math lady. I used to make the joke that
I'm
like if
not
I were to
either.
ever right, if I were to ever get in trouble, it'd be because like I did something math wise wrong.
Aw.
But I found a loophole. For that. Marry a math dude, and I was like,
True.
yes, loophole. Okay.
Aw.
Wait, no, you didn't say yours. What was your favorite?
So, mine are both cozy detective related. So,
Cute.
one was meeting Mary in real life, getting
Yes.
to meet a listener. It was just so
So cool.
cool. And honestly, anytime you guys DM us or email us or comment, like it
Yep.
really means everything to us. I know some people will be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, sorry to bother you." It's not a bother. Truly, we love it so
No.
much. And then the other one, I'm not gonna like read the quote again because I don't want us to both cry. But the one who
Oh,
like
yeah, I know
talked
exactly what you're
about
talking
us during
about.
therapy, I was like, that was a really good moment. But I don't
Yeah.
want to think about it too much and start crying again.
Right? 'Cause I feel like again, that's like the point of it is to like be in the blanket for it, like with the two of us and with the cozy detectives, and that like back and forth communication of it is like
Yeah,
the most fun. So absolutely love that.
exactly.
And I don't know how to do that well. My
I do it
derpy
all the
hands.
time, and I'm
I
always
didn't
just
either. You're
like,
good at it.
even like even at work, someone will ask and they're like, "Oh, blah blah blah," and I'm like,
I have you with two hands in it because it was. I should have done that one though. I did
"No,
that.
I like it." I
Okay,
think it's your turn, right?
me. Number 3. What was a case file of the other person that they covered that you wish that you got to cover?
I think I said this during the episode, but it was actually a very recent one when we did Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is just obviously
So good.
the one I love a lot more than Sense and Sensibility, which will come up again in a little bit. But I think you did such a great job covering it, though, and I
I'm glad. That
still
was where I felt like I was talking forever. There's been a few of those where I'm like,
no.
I am just going too
No,
long.
but I love it because it's like it's one of those things of like this is my special interest. I hope you like it too.
Yeah.
But I like learned a lot from how you covered it. But yeah, I was trying to think of my answer for this. It was like the first thing I came up because I was just like, I love that movie so much.
Oh, it's so good. I have 2 that are it's both of our favorite some of our favorite movies,
Yeah.
which again is part of the podcast, but About Time, I love.
Aw, yeah.
There's been some songs in that have been very important parts of my life, in The Parent Trap, because that is just such
Aw,
a good
yeah.
movie. It's so good. But it's also something where I feel like as much as it was in, like, my lore and history, it also was in yours in, like, a I don't want to say more important way, but I feel like my love of it has slowly grown throughout time, where I feel like yours like really solidified like when it came
Mhm.
out and watched it, and then has only compounded in time.
Ye
And so it was really fun to see you get to like dive into that and discuss it, and just like your love of it really I felt like came through. So it was very fun to watch, but I was also like,
Yeah.
I love this movie too. It's so
I know.
good.
Well, and, like, those were 2 because those are very early episodes also,
Yeah.
like, Parent Trap was number 2 because when we were first coming up with the premise, which I guess we can also kind of reflect on that because I don't think we've
True.
really ever shared that background too much, but, um, I reached out to Joy at the towards the end of 23 and was like,
Yeah.
we should start a podcast next year. And we were like, I don't know what that would look like. And
Yeah.
the main goal was cozy. Like from
Yep.
the beginning, we were like, we both really love cozy vibes. Um, and so we got on like a Zoom call like a
Oh, I
couple
remember
times
that. I
trying to
forgot.
like think through it. And we were like, yeah, we
Yeah.
just want it to be a breath of fresh air, cozy vibes. Like that was like all we could really come up
Yeah.
with. And then I really think it was a very good job of teamwork coming up with it because I was like, well, what if we somehow do it as like a play on a true crime podcast where we have like a theme and we each like pick something that we like quote unquote report on that's cozy. And so that was like the concept. And then when we were coming up with the name, you're the one who came up with Blanket Fort Files. And so
Yeah.
I just felt like very cohesive, even though like now we're very much more in sync with our flow. I feel like even then we had a good job of
Yeah.
collaborating together. But when we were first planning out episode themes and case files, those were 2 like immediately. I was like, I want to talk about these.
And I was like, okay, there's been some, which is not one of the questions in here, but there's been some where like it's funny when one person's like, I have to talk about this thing, and the other person's like, okay, I will find a case file.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sometimes it
there's
really
been
like clicks and works, and then sometimes it's like, I hope you have a lot to talk about because I didn't find much.
yeah, or like even just coming up with like the themes. Like there's been
Mm.
some that were
1900s.
stretches.
I love it.
Yeah, well, like when you really wanted to talk about the mummy, for the
Yeah.
longest time, we were gonna try to do some sort of, like, Egypt theme, and I was like, "I don't have anything." And then I was like, "Okay, well, I kinda wanna talk about Matilda," and I was like, "Okay, they're, like, Halloween
I'm like, okay,
adjacent."
time wise, let me
Yeah.
put this, yeah.
So
So
that's
what?
how that came together, but,
Yeah.
oh, so fun. What was a case file that the other person covered that you experienced for the first time after recording the episodes? Not counting The Little Woman, the Mummy that we just did.
Yeah. I actually have 3 because the way that
Oh.
I did my hard investigating is I went back through our YouTube and I was like, "Okay, what were our case files for everything?" And, so I'm gonna start actually, I'm just gonna start wherever I feel like starting.
I
So
love
I'm
it.
gonna start with Eloise because I had never seen
Oh,
Eloise.
yeah.
I didn't know that Julie Andrews was in it, who I adore, and it was really fun because I did watch that one after we talked about the case file. Um, I just it was so cool to see her in a new movie and in an age I'd never really seen her in a movie before. So it was
Yeah.
really fun. It was wild to see her with long hair. It threw me off for like 80% of the movie. I had never heard of so it's funny because as much as I love video games in certain like genres and things like that, as an adult, really my was I was very very narrow on my video game knowledge as a kid. So it was really cool to see the Nancy Drew game and your love of
Mhm.
that because I had never even like really heard of it.
Yeah.
That was very fun. And then I would say, and this very much so ties back, but the American Girl magazines, that like as much as you had said that you felt like you talked too much, I loved it. I was so locked in. It was so fun to learn about it. It was cool that you had like bought them. Oh, and I read in your article that you bought more, and I'm
Yeah.
excited. We have plans. Um,
Yeah.
but I never really knew that much about it. I don't know how it like missed me in that time period, but it was really cool to have you do like your show and tell something that you loved as a kid and just get to dive into that world with you. That
Yeah.
was very fun.
So I have one specifically, I kind of the same way where like one specifically, and then one I was kind of either excited to learn about and still want to, but anyways, I'll get into it. So I watched While You Were Sleeping for the first time after you talked about it with Sandra Bullock, which is funny because that was around the same time as
Yeah.
Eloise, because they're both kind of like Christmassy movies. Well, Eloise is specifically Christmas, but and that was really fun. And again, it's one of those things of like, well, obviously, like it's of the like time period I love watching rom-coms from. I love Sandra Bullock, so that was a fun one to experience.
Yay.
And then um I there was ones where like I had seen, but it had been a very, very long
Mhm.
time, like Singing in the Rain. So it was fun to
Mm.
learn more about that and like, oh, I want to watch it again. And we haven't gone to this one on our um spring movie watch list, but I haven't seen Sound of Music in a long time either, and I know that's one
Love.
of your favorites.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go. You like motivated me to put it on the watch
Fun.
list, and we also I mentioned this when we recorded. This was last week, but The Secret Garden is one because
Yes.
I know this is before you talked about it, but it was one that I really wanted to watch. And then I haven't been able to find where to watch it yet, but I really do want to watch The Repair Shop because,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
throwback. But
I
that,
almost put the Great British Baking on there too as like because like I had heard of it, but I hadn't
mhm,
like known about it in the way that you know about it. So
yeah,
that was on there too as yeah.
yeah, that was one I hadn't known about until you talked about, and it's that, like I said, that's my bread and butter is cozy
So
British
good.
competition. So I need to find a way to watch that for sure.
Yeah, I wish I could like well, we'll figure out something because I literally have like the DVDs that I think I found on like eBay
Yeah,
or
you can
something.
just
I was like, oh,
mail them to me. I'll borrow them
right.
for a time and then send them back.
Create our own Netflix or
Like
blanket
the
fort Netflix.
OG where like
Yeah.
the DVD in the mail. Oh.
Oh, no. Okay, next question. What was your favorite How to Have a Cozy Season episode?
So this might surprise you, but it was actually How to Have a Cozy Summer because
Stole my answer.
oh no, that's surprising too because obviously like we're both like fall and winter girlies, but
Yeah.
summer like I really try to take our own advice and have a
Yeah.
cozier summer, and like I talked about that in the Substack note that I posted yesterday, but it really just motivated and inspired me to have a cozier summer and just like look for
Yeah.
those little moments that would make summer more enjoyable. And it was our first one, so it was just fun
Yeah.
coming up with the concept and the tips. So sorry to steal your
No,
thunder.
I love it. I'm surprised on that, but also it makes sense. I feel like we also were getting in the groove of it. It was really fun to come up with like the concept and the plan for it. I do have fall in there as well because obviously we love fall and that was it it felt right. You know what I mean? Like it would have felt
Hmm.
like really funky to try to like just like not do that. So like
Yeah.
that was unnecessary, but I do feel like summer and I feel like also maybe it's just because that was towards the start of the podcast in general that I feel like I'm
Hmm.
getting that feeling again of like I want to have a cozy summer, like I want to have like
Yeah.
the American Girl summer and like those type of feels. So I feel like that's another reason why it was like at the top of
Yeah, getting all
Mhm.
nostalgic.
Yeah, meant to be.
Oh my gosh. One of the movies we watched recently that was on our spring, it's not
Mhm.
really spring, but we put it because we hadn't seen it yet and really wanted to. Have you seen Inside Out 2 yet?
Oh, yes, it was so good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We were not, we
The
started
feels in
watching
that.
it and we're like, oh, this isn't as sad as I thought it was going to be. Like the first one was sadder. And then, like, when she's having the panic attack, and it was like, oh, this is too real. But
Yeah.
I loved, and I thought of you when the little nostalgia keeps coming in, and they're like, you can't be here yet.
Yeah, that's my brain, but that's just like the I like was burst with that part of my brain.
Yeah. Aw. What was the most difficult case file to do research on?
So I have two. One was, and I'm gonna redefine I'm going to redefine difficult, because one of mine was Martha Stewart, because we had never done a person. It was
Yeah,
our Martha Stewart
always
and Ina.
different.
And it was, yeah, it was different trying to like talk about somebody's entire like body of work or what they're known for in like a small segment. And also because Martha Stewart's done so much, it was hard to be like, okay, what am I going to pick out? What am I going to talk about? Because like you could like 100 books, like
Right.
be in here forever. So I feel like that was tricky. And I feel like in, yeah.
I was gonna say, since you got upset that you didn't realize this was a thing until after recording, once people
Oh,
started saying, "Do you want to share the little fun fact you
yes.
learned
I'm
afterward?"
also like, okay, I researched this lady so hard, and I somehow didn't find the connection that her dogs are Chin Chin and Pow Pow, which is Michelle's dogs from Gilmore Girls that
Yeah,
are named
so
after her dogs. I'm
cute.
like, where was that nugget when I needed it? Like literally like 3 days after we recorded, that popped up, and I
Yeah.
was like, how dare you?
And
How
so
dare you
many
find this
cozy
stuff?
detectives were sending it to us, which I love that they were thinking of us.
Yeah.
So
No, I love
cute.
it. I just want to find, I'm like, when I feel like I've done the cozy detective like investigating, and then it like doesn't find the thing I wanted to find, I'm like, no. That's why I'm like, I'm very proud of something that I will talk about later, because I was like,
Aw.
I found it first. And then I started panicking. So we created a reel about it. I was like, wait, did I find it or not? So
Aw.
but then the other one that I would say was very fun to do, we just wanted to do it so well that we put a lot of time into it, was we had our first interview in season 1 as well with
Mhm.
Valerie Campbell, who
Yeah.
was from Gilmore Girls, and that was very fun. I think just because we wanted to do the interview justice, I watched every possible thing I could find with her in it,
Yeah.
because we wanted the questions to be so cozy focused that
Mhm.
I wouldn't say like it was very fun to do. I wouldn't say it was like difficult, but I would just say that like that was one that
A lot of
we poured
research.
hours into, yeah,
Yeah.
doing research, because we wanted to show up in the way that like she deserved us to. So I feel like we did
Yeah.
do good with it, but that was something where I was like, oh, I remember doing all of the research for that. So
Yeah. Mine, I have a couple, but they're all kind of the same. So sometimes it's hard doing a book, like just one
mm.
singular book, just because there's not a lot of like behind the scenes of it. So the one of
Mhm.
the harder ones for me was the Basil and Oregano graphic novel for our
Mhm.
cozy back to school episode. Um, because it's also like indie published and everything. So there's really not a lot. So I love talking about books, obviously. And that was requested that people want us to talk about books more. But I think if I do books for a case file, it may do where I pick like two or three to talk
That's
about,
cool.
because it's really hard to do a full case file on just like one book. So in that
Yeah.
episode, you also did kind of a more unique case file with the Scholastic Book Fair. So we're like, we'll pad this with the cozy tips, which I think we need to do more cozy tips in just like regular episodes too, because they're so fun to think of. But yeah, that one was really challenging.
Yeah, that's a good one. That one was challenging also to find from for my case file too, because I, the nice thing is like the Scholastic Book Fair has been a thing for so long, but it's also like, okay, well, what do you talk about? Like what
With
where do I
yeah.
walk with this? But it was very fun. Also, this is like unrelated to what we're talking about now, but it is snowing outside and it looks
Uh,
very Mr. Darcy outside currently.
we're
it's
like
it's also like
90 degrees here.
way too late to be snowing in the year, but here we are. Anyway,
Aw.
the next question. What was your favorite fun fact that you learned while doing research on a case file?
I kind of pointed this out. It was Jacqueline's favorite fun fact first, but more recently in our Jane Austen episode, learning about Emma Thompson and Greg Wise like being married for a long time after
That's
mating on the set of Sense and Sensibility. Like I don't know how that completely missed my radar. But yeah, that was really fun to learn.
fun. Mine's the hand flex, because I didn't know that that wasn't
Oh
like
yeah.
a thing, like a purposeful thing. And then I also really liked how much detail Miyazaki puts into his work for
Mm,
like it was Kiki's Delivery Service and Tortoro, but I can't remember
yeah.
the like name of the episode
The
currently.
Studio Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli episode.
Yeah.
Duh. Um, but that was really fun to like, oh well, actually, like he does it backwards, and like all these details of things that like just were so just fun to learn that he did.
Yeah, I know. I've seen people specifically using him, but obviously just with how much more AIs become prevalent of like he really wants art to be done obviously by artists and just like getting like AI just completely ruining that. And so they're like, we're gonna disappoint him if we keep using
Aw.
AI.
Yeah, and, like, the amount that he would just, like, scrap a scene and write it over and, like,
Yeah.
redraw it and, like, wow. It's
Yeah.
very impressive.
So moving away a little bit from case files, what was your favorite 2% cozier from the end of the episodes?
I have 3. One
Aw,
is your blanket. It's one of my favorite things
yay.
ever. I love it, and it will sit proudly there. I really like the timer lamp thing that I did, which, like, was,
Mhm.
like, not very aesthetic, and so I was like, "How do I take a photo of this?" But I love it. I love walking in that room, and it's just like I past joy takes care of now joy, you know?
Yeah.
And then my air dry clay, I couldn't, like, not say that 'cause
Aw.
what if I
Well, that
meant
was a whole case file for you.
that was, but then, like,
Yeah.
later on, I felt like I did 2% of it and, like, all that. It was
Yeah.
very fun. I really
I
liked that.
love it. Um, my main one is kind of the same with the light timer, and I
Mhm.
think I said this at the end because you asked this, I think, at the end of the year when we were in December. Um, but when I pre got a little noodle bowl from Trader Joe's before I got
Mm.
my flu shot, because to me that was what a lot of the time behind the scenes, um, I think you both of us will just like think back on our week of like, oh, what is something that we did that was kind of cozy we could talk about. But that one was one that I was very intentional of like, how can I make my life a little bit cozier? And so I think that's something that I want to try to do more in season 2 with
Yeah.
the 2%, is just like, what is actually a small little thing that I can do that will make my life cozier? Not like, what is something I could talk about on the podcast? I
Yeah.
mean, they're all been cozy, but I think that one was just a very, in my mind, intentional. Um, or like if I go on a walk and I'm like, let me go a little bit longer because it feels so nice out, or, you know, I want to read a book before bed and have the little like ambiance music of just really trying
Yeah.
to remember of 2% supposed to be intentional and trying to be a little bit more mindful of that, I guess.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about this one, but when I was doing, when I was playing board games, and this
Mhm.
was one of my 2% coziers of putting the ambiance music on, like, with the
Oh,
board
yeah,
game.
when you had, like, the specific playlist for each one, that was
Yeah!
so
That
fun.
was really fun, and that was something too where I was, very specific on, like, "Okay, how could I make this, like, feel, like, slightly more immersive?" And, like,
Mhm.
adding that really did just help, so I feel like, yeah, the more things that I I do feel like we're good at, like, planning ahead for it, but then there's sometimes where, like, just the week gets so busy, it does become that, okay, like, "What did I do this past week? That was cozy."
Yeah.
And so I totally agree with that in season 2 of, like, okay, what are things that I can, like, plan ahead that's
Yeah.
cozy? So, love it.
Yeah, like, sometimes I'll be doing something, I'm like, "Oh, this would make a good 2%," but I
Mm.
don't know, that one was just very much like, I wanna make sure like, again, you said, like,
Yeah.
taking care of future me.
Yeah, love it.
So, yeah.
What was something unexpected that you gained from the podcast?
So this is one. So you had. This was your question, and she like texted me this earlier today. So I was like, I don't know if I'd answer, but I have one. So you were like a skill or a hobby, and I have gone thrifting a lot more
Mm.
since um we started, and specifically going in with kind of that wish list in mind, like you talked about in the very first episode. And so that has been a really fun newness in my life. So I'm very grateful for you for that.
Ah, yay! I like that one, obviously. I
What about you?
I feel like I feel like mine I honestly, I came up with this question because I was thinking about the podcast, like, in general in prepping for this episode, and I feel like I really have I wouldn't say I am great at it because just again, life can be hard, but I really feel like I've focused more on cozy
Hmm.
specifically since we started this
Yeah.
podcast, and, and I know we just talked about, like, the 2% of it, but I feel like in allowing the like little me to like just like enjoy her random niche things and
Yeah.
not I wouldn't say I ever apologized for it. I would say I very much have always just been like, here's me and the things I like. But I
Mhm.
feel like kind of like sharing that, like with Cozy Detectives or like again at the beginning of this, where I'm like, look, we're like, Larissa, here's this thing that I like. And like, don't, please don't think it's weird.
It's so cute. You like your little kid voice.
Yeah. What do you think of this that I got you? I just feel like that's been really fun, and I do feel like yes, there's going to be times, and like there's always going to be something where it's like funny or quirky, but I would say that was like an unexpected was the word that like I would,
Yeah.
but that was very fun.
I think that is the same too of just like looking for those cozier moments or
Yeah,
thinking about certain things that I've loved my whole life of like, well, what's this like reoccurring theme? And I'm like, oh, they're all cozy.
yeah.
Um, I think has been really fun. And yeah, this I wouldn't say is necessarily unexpected, but I have really enjoyed sharing this with you, but with Cozy Detectives, especially when it's like growing up, I didn't really have I had one friend who liked American Girl magazine, but I didn't really have a lot of friends that liked it. But now so many people are like, "Oh my gosh, I read these too." And so it's like finding other people who love the things that you
Yeah.
thought only you liked. So that's
Yeah.
been really fun too.
Yes. Love it. So fun.
Aw. And then our last question, this is kind of a looking to the future, which we'll do more later on in the episode. But what is a case file that you hope to cover in the future?
I have one. Well, I'm gonna say this, but it is planned, so I'm very
Yes,
excited.
both of these are planned ones.
Okay, cool. I was like, "Are you guys doing this one or not?"
Yeah.
I'm really excited because I again, this is something that I was introduced to me, I would say, later on in life. I've always liked Abba Abba as, like, a band, but I
Mhm.
never watched Mamma Mia, and so I'm very excited to do a lot more of, like, behind the scenes details of it because that is a case file that will be upcoming, so I'm excited to dive
Yay.
into Mamma Mia. It's also, like, just, like it's, like, the summer feeling that, like, you
Yeah.
and so I'm very excited to do that one. What's
Yeah.
yours?
Mine is another one we have planned, I think coming up-ish. It's Love, Rosie, and
Oh,
it's a book and a movie, which I love both. And it's a rom-com that I don't feel a lot of people know about it or at least talk about it. So I'm hoping it's one of those things where people will come out of the woodwork and be like, I love it too. So that's going to be really fun. It's a friends to lovers, so that's going to be the theme for that episode. I'm very excited to get to
I
talk
I've
about
never
it.
seen it, so I'm excited to learn
Oh,
about
I
it.
feel like you would like it. It's
Yeah.
has Lily Collins in it, which I know sometimes you struggle with the lilies, but it's the
Oh.
one not in Mamma Mia.
I was gonna say I also have a Lily. I will probably say the
um,
okay, getting into the next thing.
yeah, so we're gonna do kind of a little yeah, I think we're calling this the cozy case file bracket, where we have. So I'll explain it, but we will do a version of this for the cozy detectives to participate in on our Instagram after this episode comes out. So be on the lookout for that. But essentially, how it's going to work, we've picked out 16 case files that the other person has covered over the past year, and they're going to go head to head in a little like March Madness style bracket. And we'll, um, the other person doesn't know which ones that are coming. And so they'll have to choose either their favorite one that they just love. And you can interpret it how you want to answer it. If it's something where you just love this thing more than the other thing, or you love doing research more, or you love talking about it more, however you want to answer, and then we'll go down rounds and then we'll be left with our top case file at the end.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
So Joy, I guess, is up first in terms of it's her bracket first. So hopefully you're not too nervous. Okay. So for the first one, I decided to do Meg Ryan versus Meg Ryan, and you have to pick between Sleepless in Seattle from our Nora Ephron movies episode,
Ooh,
or You've Got Mail from our Meg Ryan fall episode.
ooh. I'm gonna say you've got mail.
Okay, that was the one I thought you were. I tried to like kind of predict how you would answer on some of these.
I know I have a couple things where I'm like, I feel like, but then a couple of the ones that I picked for you, I'm like, oh, these are hard. I'm sorry.
I know. I picked a couple hard ones
Okay.
too, but um, so the second one is The Hobbit from Cozy Fall Books or Over the Garden Wall from Cozy Halloween.
Oh, those are good ones. I think because of my history with it, it has to be The Hobbit,
That was my
but
guess
Over the
too.
Garden Wall is great. So
I
good.
hope I got
That's
these
another
all.
one where you're like, is this cozy? And then you watch it like the
Yeah.
third time and you're like,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
all except
that
that
was
one episode.
yeah, that was what I forgot to mention because I watched it technically before we recorded that
I did
episode, but
warn you,
I did.
to be
Yes,
fair.
you did. But I did experience that because of you in the podcast.
Oh,
So
fun.
that one should count. All right. Next one is Age of Adeline from Cozy Time Travel Movies or Father of the Bride from Nancy Meyers
Ooh.
movies.
Ooh, it has to be Father of the Bride again because the history with
That was
that, and I
that
love
was
that
my
one.
guess.
But I
So
do
far I'm
love,
good.
but I do love the like. I don't know. I love the clothing, the sets, the design, the like, the idea behind Age of Adeline. But I just feel like Father of the Bride just, yeah, that one's good. I still,
Yeah.
actually, one of the things I do want to watch in the future is I still haven't seen Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I've heard that's really good though.
Yeah. So my next one, I'm hoping this one will be kind of hard because I almost put two different ones, but I had technically asked you this to pick between the two earlier on. So I was like, no, I'll put these other two. So we have Sound of Music from Julie Andrews films versus Singing in the Rain from Summer Musicals.
Oh, those are like my two of my
I
favorite
know, I
movies.
know. I was like,
Um, gosh, I think it has to be Sound of Music,
that was my
but Singing
prediction.
in the Rain is like right there.
Yeah.
I feel like I found Singing in the Rain when I was like 8 or 10, but I feel like Sound
Hmm.
of Music my grandma introduced me to, so I feel like
Yeah. And that one has Julie Andrews in it. So that just
ah,
like is part of it. Yeah.
yeah.
That was my prediction. Okay. Next we have White Christmas from Cozy Christmas Movies versus Narnia from Cozy Winter
Oh,
Movies.
ooh, those are good. Um, Man, I was just listening to the score of Narnia though. I feel
Oh,
like it has to be White Christmas.
that was my prediction. Wow. I
Yeah.
know you
You're
very
killing
well.
it, yeah. I will make my predictions in my head as I ask you because I feel like yeah. Yeah,
Love
yeah,
it.
that's a hard one though.
Okay. This one is the hardest one, and I didn't know which way you were going to
Oh
pick.
no.
Pirates of the Caribbean from Cozy Adventure Movies or The Mummy
Oh, I
from Not
knew you were gonna
Quite
say the
Halloween.
mummy. Ah,
Because I
okay.
was like, I don't actually know which one you liked more.
Gosh, that's hard. I
Maybe you
think
don't know either.
I know I've never had to like that's a fun thing about the brackets too. Like you never really think like which do I
Yeah,
have to pick? So
right.
I feel like it has to be Pirates because of the whole view of it.
Yeah,
Although I have also been to Universal and been on the Mummy ride, and I do love that one too. But I feel like, yeah, like including like the lore and history and like all of it, I think it has to be Pirates.
yeah.
But like the Mummy
I was
is like
gonna say,
right there.
I feel like you had more to talk about with Pirates. Like, if I had to pick one
Mm,
for you, I would have also said Pirates. I think just, and this might have been because we had been doing it for a little bit longer, but I felt like your case file for Pirates was a little bit more joy and love there.
yeah,
Like, you still obviously were like the Mummy, but
yeah.
I feel like that case file was like stronger.
Yeah, like I at one point, which I said in the episode too, at one point I knew the like almost said lyrics. I knew the like screenplay whatever of Pirates so well that like I could say it along with the movie.
Yeah.
Like to that level. So,
Love that.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Rogers from PBS Kids versus Out of the Box from nostalgic DIY shows,
Ew, you
making
made
you
me do
pick between the kids shows.
that. Oh, that's a good one. Did I make you do that? I don't know if I did that.
I tried to make sure they were like
Like
similar.
vibes. Yeah. Sometimes
Mhm.
I did that. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't know what Joy picked. Um, oh goodness. I feel like Oh, interesting enough, this one's like hard because I can see why I would pick both of them, obviously. Maybe Mr. Rogers, just because of the cozy feelings of it.
Yeah, that was my guess, more so because I feel like with the research, when you really like learned about how much advocating he did for
Yeah.
PBS,
And
and
he
I
was like the
feel,
head of like children's
yeah,
shows. So
yeah. So
for
that
him,
was my
I
prediction.
would watch
Okay,
it. Fantastic.
last one of this round,
Okay.
and I went through some more like non-traditional case files. So these are some of
Mm.
your recent cozies. So I have dopamine menus from recent fall cozies or co-op board games from recent winter cozies.
Ooh. I think board games.
That
That
was my prediction too.
yeah, that's very fun. I
Yay.
really
All
like
right,
that. I also didn't think I'd be a board game girly, but just bought that Gilmore
here we
Girls one
are.
too. And here we are.
Love it. Okay, round two.
Oh, scared.
So we're taking the winner of each of those, and they're going head to head now. So we
Okay.
have You've Got Mail
Mm.
versus The Hobbit.
Oh, okay. You've Got Mail versus The Hobbit. Oh shoot. I think it has to be The Hobbit.
Yeah, if I had to, I was like trying to live guess
Yeah.
now, and that was how I guess you were going to
It's
go with.
harder when they're like across genres.
Yeah, they're not
Oh,
as similar. Okay, Father of the Bride or Sound of Music.
oh my gosh. I think Sound of Music.
Yeah, I feel like that was an easy one.
The Father of the Bride's so good. But see, now if you put Father of the Bride versus The Hobbit, I'd probably pick Father of the Bride, you know?
Yeah, well, that's how the bracket goes. Okay, White Christmas or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh. Um, I think White Christmas.
Ooh, that was surprising. I thought you were going to pick Pirates for that
I
one.
know.
I thought the final two were going to be Sound of Music versus Pirates.
Mm.
All right, Mr. Rogers or co-op board games.
Mr. Rogers.
Yes. Okay. Now we're in the final four.
Oh,
So we have The Hobbit versus Sound of Music.
man. I think it has to be Sound of Music, but I think The Hobbit would beat almost anything else
Yeah.
thinking about it overall.
Yeah.
I
That
feel like
makes
I know what
sense.
my end one's going to be, but it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so fun to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have White Christmas versus Mr. Rogers.
White Christmas.
Yeah. All right. Final round. I think I know what you're picking.
Which is like,
but
it's like my two favorite movies. So
Yeah.
no surprise.
Sound of Music versus White Christmas.
I think it has to be Sound of Music.
Yeah.
The White Christmas is right there. We did. If I knew how to do graphics, I would do that.
But yeah,
Okay.
that was
Fun.
I picked that one on there because I was like, I feel like this is gonna be
Like
the
a
winner.
forerunner.
That was my guess. All right, I'm excited.
Okay. I hope I do this. I did. So, speaking of brackets and the Gilmore Girls episode of it all, your girl did not do that well the first time around, but I have redeemed myself. I did this one correctly.
Yes, I made Joy a color-coded template.
Yes, I did have a cheat sheet from Larissa, but I followed
Love it.
directions. Okay.
Yay.
I did this a couple days ago, so I don't even remember. We're gonna find out together what I
I
did.
know. I did mine like over a week ago, so it was
Yeah.
like fun for me too.
Okay, Harriet the Spy from Cozy
Mhm.
Spies, or Matilda from Not Quite Halloween movies.
Oh, you're already making it hard.
Sorry.
Okay, this one,
Some of my other ones look brutal too.
I know. My gut reaction is to go with Matilda, but I'm like, but
With the
Michelle
nostalgia,
Trachtenberg just
yeah.
passed away. But I'm gonna go with Matilda only because, and because I know you haven't watched either yet, but Harriet does some really mean things
Aw.
in it, and so I think just
And you love
overall,
me. She was
yeah,
one of your top moms.
yeah, that's true. All right, Matilda. Oh, that was so hard. Oh, you don't know how to do
Okay, get ready for hard other
this.
things too.
Ooh.
Okay. Little Women from Cozy Snow Day Films. And I put it versus Miss Congeniality from Sandra
Oh,
Bullock.
that one's Little Women.
Okay.
I
That's
do
what I
really
thought.
love Miss Congeniality, but Little Women is just like that one I watch at least every year.
Okay, cool. So I did get that. I wasn't sure about the first one because I was like, I've never seen any of these, so I don't know like the
Yeah.
connection. But I do feel like you loved Matilda a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yours truly from
Oh
our
no.
first episode.
My favorite book.
And then, oh my gosh, why did I do this? I did it versus the holiday. Oh no! I'm so sorry. I think I was trying to think of
That's too hard. That's like my favorite book and one of my favorite movies. Oh no.
I could have picked a worst one.
I'm crying. I don't know.
Girl, the
I
next
don't
one is
know.
just as rough.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Sorry.
I
I'm
really don't
sorry.
know. It's hard because like I've loved the holiday a lot longer.
Yeah.
But like I have a yours truly tattoo.
I
So like I feel like I
know.
have to pick that. God, you're so
I know, so sorry.
Okay. It's one of those things of like
It's not that big a deal, but it
just
feels
say
like
what
it's
I know
heavy.
it
Yeah.
does. I'm
Go
like,
gut
just go with
instinct.
your gut. Go with
Yeah.
your gut. Okay. Like where would my life be if I didn't have
Oh.
is it like where I can never okay, I'm gonna take this really seriously. I
No, you
can't
can watch
read it again
anything. No,
or
you
I
can do.
can't watch it
Oh, you're gonna
again.
go that far.
Yeah. Uh, mm, okay.
I'm so sorry.
I'm like having an existential crisis because I'm like, okay,
I'm
but like
just
the
sweating.
holiday has like the score and the house,
Yeah.
and but I'm like, but it's just like a Christmas time. Even though I could watch it year round, I usually just watch it on Christmas time. But then yours truly, I reread all of the time, and it's so comforting. But I'm telling myself in this world, I'm gonna go because I would say I would have all of Abby's other books in this world to
Valid.
take care of myself. So I'm gonna pick the holiday. I'm
Oh
so
my gosh,
sorry.
I'm so sorry. It doesn't get better. I made
Oh,
this
I'm
way too
scared.
hard.
I'm so scared. Oh no.
I'm so sorry. I can't even
I,
spell holiday
I
right.
was
I
like,
just
oh, we're
messed
gonna
it up.
have a cute little cozy vibes. Joy's like, pick one.
I'm in it. Okay.
Which of your children do you love more?
I know. That's what I'm about to do next, too. I'm so
Oh
sorry.
no.
Okay. I
It's
wrote
fine.
The Parent Trap,
Oh
the
no.
Nancy Myers movies, or put it versus The Princess Diaries.
I've just been shot. It's like those memes with 9/11, like they just hit the Pentagon. What are you doing?
I'm
What are you doing
sweating.
to
I'm
me?
so sorry. I was covered, okay? I was just picking things that were similar vibes.
Oh God, no. Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. I have no
Okay,
idea.
well,
I wouldn't know what to
hang
pick.
on.
Yeah.
This is my loophole
Yes.
because my case file for that episode for the Princess Diaries was the books. So I'm doing
True.
Princess Diaries books versus Parent Trap movie. So I can pick
Perfect.
the Parent Trap movie because
Perfect.
I like the books, but I love the Princess Diaries movie. So that's my loophole.
Yep. I'm gonna write movie, even just to solidify that. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay.
This is torture.
I know. I felt like this one, I knew this next one coming up, I knew the answer to, and now I am not sure of the full
Oh
lore.
no.
I can't remember the full lore of one of these. Okay, I put the American Girl magazines.
Okay.
Love them. I put Kiki's delivery service. Is that the hard one? Now I'm scared.
This is the problem with talking about all of my favorite things. And this was
Thank
like
God.
my idea to do, and I was like, it won't be that bad.
I've made it so
Okay.
hard.
If you were to ask me this like a year
Yeah.
ago, I would have said Kiki easily,
Mm.
but just reconnecting with American Girl magazine so much more recently, especially like writing a whole thing on it.
I thought that one was in the bag. I was convinced. This was the easy
No,
one.
because Kiki was like a movie. Like I had the like VHS of it and like watched it all the time.
Oh,
I know, and I remember me finding like the soundtrack
yeah,
on
yeah.
vinyl.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. I'm scared for the future rounds too.
No.
I'm gonna go
Doesn't
with
get better.
I guess American Girl magazine because that was my favorite like episode to talk about.
I know.
I'm gonna get therapy after.
Like all your 2% are just like haunting you. Okay. I feel like I know this one.
Okay.
Okay. Nancy Drew
Mhm.
or Animal Crossing? That
Okay, but no, because that's literally like because Nancy Drew is like childhood Larissa video game favorite. Animal Crossing is adult Larissa video game favorite. So now
But
it's
you
like
replayed Nancy Drew recently.
yeah, but I did a whole Gilmore Girls theme on my
That's
island.
true.
I would okay. I think I will go with Nancy Drew on that one only because like I just have more history with it. And there's more of those games that I've played, but that was still hard.
Oh, okay. I feel like this one's. I'm scared for not this one, but the next one. I feel
I'm
like that's.
scared for me.
I'm, I'm like these are similar vibes, and I'm like it's because they're her favorites. Why am I doing this? Okay,
This is fun though.
I know it is fun. It's like the best version of drama. Like pick your favorite. Okay, Delia's from the '90s
Mhm.
mall store
Okay.
or Zoom.
Okay, Zoom. That one's
Okay,
easy.
okay,
Like
okay. That's what I thought.
I did love Delia's, but Zoom and I went way back.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. That one is easy. One easy one.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
feel like this one is not easy because I had a theme. Ina Garten
Uh-huh.
or Julie and Julia.
That one's Julie and Julia.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because I do like Ina. It was more because I recently like read her memoir or whatever, but Julie and Julia is also one of my favorites. So that one was an easier one.
Okay, perfect.
But
Okay.
I'm scared for the
Okay.
future.
I feel like the worst one is the second one in this round. This one I feel like I'm
Okay.
okay. Matilda or
Mhm.
Little Women.
Little Women.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is what I'm scared about.
Me too. It's the holiday and Parent Trap, right?
Yep.
Dang it.
I shouldn't have put them that close. I shouldn't have put them that close. I think we would have gotten here somewhat eventually anyway, though, to be fair.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that'll be towards the end, and I'll just like flip a coin. Because again, it's one of like child Larissa, adult
Yeah.
Larissa.
Yeah.
Um,
I do feel like I know which one, but I am interested to see.
yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'll have to do the holiday
Mm.
on because I was like, but because I literally probably watched Parent Trap. Oh, but I like acted out Parent Trap with my Barbie.
I know. That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be Parent Trap
I know this is
because of the
hard.
lore.
They're both Nancy Myers.
I know.
But I just the holiday had like the house
Yeah.
and the score, like that's why I keep coming back to. But I also like the soundtrack of Parent Trap and their house is on there and Chelsea's whole vibe. I don't know, you pick one for me. I can't do that.
Okay. I'm gonna pick the Parent Trap because of the
Okay.
child
The
aspect.
lore. Okay. Maybe that'll make a future round easier.
I was gonna say, yeah, if it like helps later on. Okay. American Girl magazines, Nancy Drew.
That's literally my childhood right there. Like Parent Trap, Nancy Drew, and American Girl. Like that's my big three.
I know.
I think I'll go American Girl.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. It was so hard.
Okay, this one, Zoom or Julie and Julia?
Julie and Julia. Okay. I know it's like at the end, but I'm getting scared. I'm really getting scared.
Okay. I'm starting to get nervous here. Okay. Little Women or The Parent Trap?
Parent Trap.
Oh, wow.
I know. That was hard.
Okay. American Girl, Julie and Julia. Gut instincts.
Oh, but I've been listening to there's this side note. I'm gonna stall. We're gonna procrastinate a little bit. I've been listening to this YouTuber. She does little ambiance playlists. Her account's Lemon Tea, and she has one that's like cozy kitchen in Paris, and she has some like Julie and Julia. She also has one with like La La Land vibes, and I'm like,
love,
girl, are you me? It's no, American Girl and
Julie and Julia.
sorry, I'm like,
No, you're fine.
I think I'm gonna go American Girl on that
Okay.
one.
Okay.
And it's Parent Trap versus American Girl, right?
Yes, or I will substitute the holiday if it would
If
help.
it makes it
We
easier.
can substitute.
No, I feel like the Parent Trap and American Girl just like go hand in hand with each other. Like that is my childhood summer right there.
True.
Like if I was answering it of because obviously I said that American Girl is like my favorite case file to talk about and just like rediscover and fall into. Parent Trap has like a longer standing, like it stayed with me this whole time. So I think I'll go Parent Trap. You had such an easier
I
time.
know, dude. I was like, I'm gonna go by subject matter. Oh, okay. We
Okay.
made it. You did it.
I don't know how
All
cozy that
good.
was. It's fine. I just feel
Congrats.
like I betrayed all of my children.
No, we love them
Okay.
equally. That was just fun.
Anyways, more cozy vibes, but we're going to loop in our cozy detectives.
Yay.
So, we asked you guys to answer some questions for us, kind of some of the ones that we've answered ourselves, but it was fun to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions on your favorites as well. So, the first one was, what was your favorite episode? So, I'm just going to kind of read through some of these. We can give a little commentary if we want to, but a lot of people said the how to have a cozy seasonal episodes. And someone said this specifically that I really liked, but they said getting both of your perspectives plus tips and tricks that help the season feel more cozy.
Love it.
So I really liked hearing that.
Yay.
Anything 90s. A lot of people said the 90s mall stores, which I thought was kind of,
Oh,
that was
fun.
surprising because that one
Yeah.
was just like kind of a random theme that we wanted to talk about. 90s moms was submitted. So good to know that y'all like the 90s too. So we can plan more of that. Nancy Myers, which
Yes.
clearly that's
Clearly
the
up there.
case. Gilmore Girls, obviously. That's why we're all here.
Love it.
Nostalgic magazines, the holiday. We're sensing a lot of themes. The celebrity chefs, the Ina
Oh,
and
that was fun.
Martha. Yeah, cozy island games. So Animal Crossing, Coral Island, the
Nice.
DCOM
Nice.
episode, our cozy travel, which we do want to do that again.
Yeah.
Maybe this summer we can do like a summer cozy travel or something. Julie Andrews,
Yay.
the PBS faves, and autumn books.
Oh, those are good ones. I
Yeah,
like that. And then the next thing that we asked,
I'm
what
excited for this
I
one.
know, me too, are what are some case files that you're hoping for themes for the future? And so some of the responses are classic rom-coms, classic
Which we have some of those
we
planned.
do, classic Disney, which we have not
Oh,
done.
I know. We need
Yeah.
to.
More people profiles, which is fun because again, the Ina Garten in Martha Stewart was like the first time we did that, and so that was one of those where it's kind
Hmm.
of like, okay, what do we think? What do the cozy detectives think? So that was fun.
Yeah.
The Olsen twins, which is more than one person submitted this, which is very
Which
cool.
we do have planned. Can
Yeah.
share that.
Woohoo! Cozy traditions among different cultures, which we did
Yeah.
kind of with the cozy
Yeah.
travel, but
Well, we did with the New Year
that too,
episode.
yeah. Which we
Hmm.
have gotten a lot of
Like,
good feedback on that one too. That one's been fun.
yeah.
More cozy music, 90s
Yeah, because I just did
food.
that one. Yeah, I saw the
That's
90s
cool.
food and I was like, I'm not sure how that would be, but I think it would be kind of cool to like purple and green ketchup and all of those like throwbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reese Witherspoon,
Aw.
J Lo, Kate Middleton. Oh, I do love her. Cozy
Yeah.
crafts,
Oh, we should do that for
more
sure.
cozy books,
Yes.
cozy baking, which we have an idea for that as like a YouTube
Hmm.
bonus.
Yeah.
Heist movies.
Oh, that sounds like it's up your alley.
I know, right? I'm like, we're the spies. Vacation or trip episodes of TV shows. That's fun. I immediately think of the Friends, which we did talk about our top 5 Friends
Yeah.
episodes, but that Remind
Yeah,
me.
I think it would be fun to because like we haven't done a top five, but it could be fun to do maybe like top five cozy episodes of a TV show or something, like not
Yeah.
just the show, but like just specific episodes could be fun.
I like it. More period pieces. We do have that.
Yay.
Cozy sleepover activities. Cute.
Fun.
Cozy solo date ideas. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Anything British. Yes, in it.
It's
Always.
us.
Always. Nostalgic childhood food slash drinks, which I think wraps really well with the
Yeah.
90s
Yeah,
foods.
I think that's what the people
Yeah.
want.
And then cozy anything. That is
Easy.
our everything. So we're in it, on it.
Thank you. And then the next question was, how has the podcast inspired you to be cozier? Hopefully, none of these make us tear up. I don't know.
No promises.
Slowing down and enjoying the small things like puzzles, cozy treats, and books.
Love it. We love a cozy
That's
treat.
that's the goal. Yes, treat yourself.
Yes.
It reminds me of nostalgia I've forgotten about, rewatches, and new recs for books and movies, which is kind of the goal of like, oh yeah, here's this thing you used to love but you hadn't thought about in a while.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought of another idea for, I don't know if we have this planned or not, but
Ooh.
yeah. I feel like I'm just gonna say it because we'll see if this works or not. But I feel like Lisa Frank was one of those for me that I haven't like dove
Ooh,
down the rabbit hole of, but I do
maybe if
love.
we do another like back to school.
Yeah, I feel like my brain's thinking 90s right now.
Yeah, I love that. It inspired me to embrace new experiences like coffee cupping and new
Yes.
creative endeavors. So that was one of your 2%, right?
Yes, that was so fun. Oh, yeah, that was really fun. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Inspired me to appreciate small cozy wins with 2%, and making bucket lists has helped break down cozy inspirations in a tangible way, which more
Yes.
on that in a little
Yeah,
bit.
so
So
fun.
excited.
Even tired.
Um, this one may make us tear up. We'll see. I found your podcast at a time when I needed coziness and look forward to a new episode every Thursday. Here it comes.
Oh,
I
yay.
adore you both, and your dynamic is unmatched. You have inspired me to take everyday tasks like cooking and crafts and add a cozy flair.
Oh, I love
I
that. So happy to have you in the blanket
know.
fort. So good.
Always finding something a little cozy to do each week with no pressure. Reminder to focus on little ways to keep cozy day to day. And I have started listening to cozy ambience music while reading.
Ah, love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I did listen to cozy like ambience music, but I feel like when you had it as the 2%, I was like, oh yeah, like that
Hmm.
was one of those ones for me, like I hadn't thought of in a while. So
Yeah. Well, hopefully everyone will check out Lemon Tea.
yeah. And then, so the next question was, what is your favorite seasonal episode that we did? By landslide, 'twas autumn. 'Tis
No
autumn.
surprise
No
there.
surprise. So very fun. And we have
Yeah.
things planned for the future. Should we share that now or later?
Later. Keep
Later.
them. I'm waiting for the end. You have to listen to this whole long episode. Okay. And then we both asked to pick out favorite case files that each of us did. So I'm going to tell Joy what everyone said their favorite case files that you did were. So Carmen San Diego,
Fun.
The Mummy. So
Yeah.
someone else finds it cozy. The Adventures of Mary Kate and Ashley,
So good.
Stardew Valley, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
And then this one I thought was really sweet. They said, I just love when Joy talks about Disney. So the Pirates case file was Chef's Kiss. They did the little
Aw,
emoji.
cute. Yeah, I really like
Yeah.
it. It's very fun. And I feel like it's one of those things too where I don't know, I feel like Disney adults get like weird reps, but like
Yeah.
you can like a thing. Like let me like my
Yeah.
thing. So yeah. Thank you. Happy to talk about it. Okay. What are some of your favorites of Larissa's case files? And again, by a landslide, The American Girl was a four-time winner.
Oh,
So
yay.
yay! The Parent
Oh, I
Trap.
know. Looking at this, I'm like, I'm curious. They're going to have to do that mean bracket too now and make
I
you pick
you
between
would
your
have
children.
think I looked at this and then created the bracket, but nope. Ina Garden, yes, very up your alley, love
Mm,
it. Kiki's Delivery Service. I think it's just because that was something that you also introduced to me in like
yeah.
the feeling of it. Like I'd watched it, but not to that level. So
Hmm.
it's fun. And then
Yeah.
Nancy Drew. Yay!
Yay.
Little
Yeah.
Us. So
You
fun.
do that bracket now, cozy detectives. And then we also asked if there was any case files that you experienced for the first time based on our recommendation, which we had already asked each other, but this is what you guys said. Sleepless in Seattle, When Harry Met Sally,
Oh,
some like
classics.
little Meg Ryan moment there. Someone said they haven't yet, but they want to read yours truly, which
Mm.
let me know when you do. They started reading the Princess Diaries books.
Ooh.
They started watching cozy British hobby shows, Singing in the Rain. And then someone said, I never knew about Nancy Myers. She does all my favorite movies.
Right.
Same.
I mean,
She has
honestly,
so
until
many
this
good ones.
podcast, and I'm pretty sure in the
Yeah.
episodes, I got Nancy Myers and, see, now I'm getting them confused.
Nora
Laura
Ephron.
Ephron confused.
We already knew. I was
I'm
like, I
like,
know you mix those up.
that and then the other 2, I always get wrong.
Yeah, and then I had not watched the 2019 Little Women until I listened to the podcast, and it's now one of my favorite movies. Yay, we
Cute.
love that's the other thing. It's not just even when y'all experience a new one, but if you find a new favorite, that's really special.
Yeah,
The cozy Spotify playlist, so need to make
I
more
love
of
it. I
those.
listen to that
And
90s
then
Moms one, like, all the time.
I know, it's so fun. And then this one was really sweet. I've gotten back into baking and crafting more because of you both. After listening to your 2%, I started crafting more because of Joy and found my love for baking again because of Larissa.
Aw, that makes us so
Yay!
happy. I can't
Yeah,
believe we're
very
1 year
much.
old.
I
We're
know.
probably walking.
I hope we started talking clearly because we're a podcast.
I feel like we definitely started talking.
Aw.
The next segment is looking ahead. And so we are going to give 2 little tidbits of things that we have planned for season 2.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about future case files, but we were really trying to think of what we wanted to do for those how to have a cozy season because in theory, they kind of are supposed to be evergreen where you could go back to those episodes every season to get ideas. But obviously, if you listen to them already, you may already be incorporating those ideas. So, Joy actually had the idea to do cozy bucket lists for every season. So, we'll go into summer and Joy will have her like cozy goals, cozy bucket list for summer, and I will as well. And then we'll
Yeah.
share them and the next time we do the bucket episode, we'll kind of report back on our progress and how much we actually did. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited for those and just kind of like similar to the tips, but in a different way and hopefully new ideas for everyone to try out.
Yeah. And I feel like it's us taking the tips episode and then also incorporating it. And I feel like this is something where I've always found when I have like a written out goal that I mean, I think statistically you're more likely to accomplish it, but it's not meant to be something where it's like scary and if you don't accomplish it, you have failed, but something where
Yeah.
you're kind of intentionally looking forward to that season. And I feel like a lot of times, like whether it's a concert, a play, a show, going to like the Botanic Gardens or something, I feel like you end up thinking of that like in the moment and you're like, oh shoot, like I didn't get tickets or I couldn't get tickets and so these are just ways that we're planning that we can look ahead and be like, okay, here's things that I want to do. And then be able to look back and be like, here's the things I did. And then it just kind of
Yeah.
keep it rolling. So that's really cool. I'm very excited for that.
Me too. And then you want to tell them about the other thing we're going to try to
Yes.
start doing
I'm
more?
very excited about this. And we have done this before, but we have already planned out a few YouTube mini-sodes. So,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. They're going to be episodes specifically for YouTube. So we have 2 that we are going to share, and there's other ones that are already in the works. So we're going to do a fun little cozy dinner party. And then,
Yeah.
speaking of American Girl, Larissa has bought more of the magazines. We're going to see how this works. But our plan is to kind of like act out or like talk about or talk through one of the American Girl plays that's in the magazine. And
Yeah.
so those will be YouTube exclusive. So if you are listening to this on Spotify, go subscribe over on YouTube. It
Yeah,
really,
we're
really
gonna
does help
try.
us out, truthfully.
Yeah, we'll see how this
Yeah.
goes, but we're gonna try to do one once a month, just like a little mini episode. They
Yeah.
won't be super, super long, unless we're talking about Gilmore Girls, then no promises.
No idea.
But I'm really excited for the dinner party. I like just had the idea the other night, but we're gonna do like a little cozy dinner menu for you, and then we'll
Yeah.
talk about like which fictional characters we would invite to the dinner party. So I think it's just like a
Yeah.
fun kind of out of the norm of what we normally do on the podcast. So
Yeah, because we love having case files and we love doing that, but this is also just another way to connect and interact that's not specific to case files, just kind of like, again, little mini random sods.
yeah, more cozy vibes in your life.
Honestly. Okay, we did it. We're at our 2% cozy. Ooh,
Yeah, yay.
exciting.
I'm so excited to keep talking cozy.
What's your 2% for this week?
So mine, which I'm sad I didn't grab it beforehand. I was just trying to get the decor ready and my little lemonade drink. But last weekend, Jacqueline and I went and had afternoon tea at an art museum,
So
and
cool.
it was really fun and cozy and just like a fun experience and just a little more unique way to be at a museum. And a little bonus 2% when we found out. So we thought it was $35 a person, but it was $35 for the both of us.
That's
So we were like,
awesome.
well, we can go to the gift shop now because we were like trying to budget. And they had this candle that smells so good. It sounds kind of weird, but it is a baguette scented candle, but it has hints of rosemary and thyme. And the rosemary is just so good. And it comes in like a little I sent you a picture of it, but we'll
It
insert it
was
here.
cool looking.
But it's in a little tin, like those tin fish that I talked about in a 2% like a long time ago. So it was really much a Larissa in a candle. And so I love it so much, and I'm very excited that I got it. And yeah, that was my
That's cool.
2% for this
I
week.
had a question about that. So it looks like a tin can. So do you have to like open the tin can and then you can light it, or is the candle a tin can, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so it's in the tin. So basically, like the bottom part of the tin is the whole candle. The lid
Ah.
doesn't fully come off. It just is like a hinge.
Mm.
Um, So I like we've talked about the candle warmers at length, but I just stick it in the candle warmer and
Smart.
just kind of monitor it so the lid doesn't get super hot or anything, but hasn't had any issues yet.
Ooh, that sounds cozy. I like it. That's one of those ones where I feel like you got to smell it, you know? Because like my
Yeah,
brain
and
is
it's
trying to picture it, but it's not
yeah, and
really
it's
getting there.
not because there's been so many like bakery candles that I
Mm.
hate, like a waffle or cupcake. Like I don't like
Just
those,
pure
but this
sugar
is like
smell.
the subtlety of bread. Like it really smells like
Mhm.
you're in, not even like in a bakery, but you're like on the street outside of a bakery
Ooh.
and standing next to like a rosemary bush.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
That is a goal of mine. Actually, I will not say. You will never know what my goal is until you watch that because I can come up with numbers for
Aw.
yourself. Anyway, my
What's your
2%.
2%?
I have really enjoyed. So I've done this a few times, but I will really fall down the rabbit hole of trying to find screen accurate like Y2K items from Gilmore Girls, from Friends, from
Which your top is very Phoebe Buffay
very
vibes.
Phoebe coded. This was not one that was on the show, but I found this at a Goodwill and I love it.
Yeah, it also kind of feels Lorelai-ish. Like
It
she
does.
has a lot of, or she has that one like the black. I know yours is more sheer, but she has like the black sleeves with the red,
Yeah.
almost like vest looking thing. So
And
I could see Lorelai wearing that.
right? And then behind the scenes is they're both filmed in the same lot. And so Joy's brain, I think some of the items that you will either see on Phoebe that you see on Lorelai, or you'll see on like Monica that you see on Lorelai. I have this feeling because I don't know why they'd have two of them, that they're the exact same item that they
That
just
could be
used for two
possible.
different shows, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Um,
You'll have to ask Valerie. I bet she knows.
Right? I feel like it would be because when we were talking, she was talking about how like they would repurpose for different shows and things like that. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I feel like that's what it is. But I've been
Yeah.
really enjoying doing that. And I also found, if you know, you know, I didn't find it. So this is the hard thing is you can find it and maybe not find the like brand for it. And if it's already sold, that's like heartbreaking. You're like, no. But the Lizzie McGuire episode where she's gonna go for her pictures and she wears the jeans. The, like,
Oh, yeah.
caramel
Once
oh,
you'd sent me those and I was like, I'm not remembering them specifically, but once you said the picture day, because then she gets the
the
paint
bu
on them.
yes, because she has, like, the
Yeah.
butterfly top and she has, like, the
Yeah.
light wash, but then it's, like, they're sparkly and there's sparkles down the side, and okay,
Yeah.
I
Which
still have
you
those.
can't even see pants in a school photo.
I know, but I remember being like, "I want those pants so bad."
Yeah.
They were already had sold, but if
Aw,
they have been found once, they could be found again. So,
that's true.
that's been really fun. I just, like, sit there and I'm like, "As seen on," and I'm, like, trying to scroll and find it and find the brands, and it's been
Cute.
very fun. What about our cozy detectives?
So I have a little story that one submitted, which I think is fun. So S. O'Rourke said that they coach a high school lacrosse team, which that's
Ooh,
cool. I've never like known a lacrosser in real life. Um, and today, when they submitted this, which also happens to be the start of our spring break,
mm.
we got new sweats as a team. And when I got mine, I told my players and fellow coach that wearing my new sweatsuit over break was going to be my 2% cozier for the week. And the woman I coach with was like, OMG, 2% cozier. I love that.
Cute.
So, yeah, we're just spreading
Spread
2%
the
to the
2%.
world.
So cute, yeah. Love it. That's so
Aw,
fun.
yeah. All right. Well, we did it. We did a whole year in the blanket fort. Thank you
Woo-hoo.
so much for listening and being here with us for a whole year. If you've been with us or if
Yeah.
at any point you found us over the year, we're very, very grateful. Be sure, if you don't already, to follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Blanket Fort Files Pod. Send us in that 2% cozier and please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast because it really helps us out. And join us next week in the Blanket Fort for season 2 because we're going to be discussing the coziness of our favorite movie moms for
Woohoo!
Mother's
Ah,
Day.
season
Happy
2.
vibes.
I can't believe we're here. They grow
I
so
know.
fast.